Hi guys, it's Adam here for the Disney Theme Park vlog, and today we're going to be updating you on everything that is happening at Disney right now. We have big news of Disney parks reopening and how things have been going in Shanghai Disneyland. Keep up to date with all the news and guides to get you excited about visiting Disney theme parks. Please give this video a like or subscribe to our channel to make sure you don't miss out on our latest content. So Disney have announced planned reopening dates for the parks at Walt Disney World Resort in Florida. Disney have submitted their reopening plans to the Governor of Florida for him to consider and approve. They plan to stagger the reopening, with the Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom opening on the 11th of July and Epcot and Disney's Hollywood Studios reopening on the 15th of July. The plan also covers the reopening of Disney Resort hotels from the 11th of July, while Disney Vacation Club resorts and Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground will look to reopen on the 22nd of June. Now this is much later than the Universal Orlando Resort, who have announced that they, along with SeaWorld Orlando, will reopen on the 5th of June. When the Florida parks do reopen, you can expect to see pretty much identical measures to those that have been working at Shanghai Disneyland after they reopened on the 11th of May. Guests will need a reservation and the parks will be operating at a much reduced capacity. Shanghai Disneyland is currently operating at 25% capacity, seeing around 20,000 guests per day, instead of its normal operating capacity of 80,000. Disney have already reopened their shopping, dining and entertainment district, Disney Springs, earlier in May, and with more stores and restaurants reopening gradually. So what have we seen so far in Shanghai Disneyland, and what can we expect when Walt Disney World reopens the parks? Social distancing will be in place throughout the resort, and for the most part Shanghai guests are sticking to these measures very well. Disney will be following slightly different guidance in the US when it comes to distancing, and will be looking to maintain and allow for 6 feet of distance between guests in the US parks. In China, the guidelines are for 3 feet of distance. There are extra checks for guests and staff, including ID checks and temperature checks before you enter the parks. Staff and guests are required to wear face masks inside the resort, except when dining. Now, one thing we can definitely see from Shanghai Disneyland is the amount of barriers and controls in place to manage the flow of guests around the resort, in attractions and in shops. There are a lot of barriers and queues and stickers on the ground to mark the distance you need to maintain when queuing, and you quickly get used to seeing these stickers pretty much everywhere. Disney have been putting extra cleaning and sanitation procedures in place, and there are lots of hand sanitizers before you enter attractions and as soon as you come off. But we haven't seen any cast members cleaning the rides between each use, as was originally predicted. Now, for guests hoping that the reduced capacity will mean very short lines, that doesn't really seem to have happened. Some attractions have a slightly shorter wait time, but because many are operating on reduced capacity, there are still queues. Well, it wouldn't be Disney without some queues, right? For Pirates of the Caribbean, they're using every other row on the boats, and on Soarin', leaving empty seats to create space between guests, so the rides can take far less people. Generally, they've also shut down the single rider queues. For outdoor shows, they've marked out lots of boxes on the ground, and guests need to stay in the box to watch the shows. Cast members have been politely but firmly policing this to ensure guests are staying within their box. Nighttime spectaculars are still cancelled for the time being, and the parade is a much shorter version, with only around 2 floats, and it does a shorter route but plays multiple times a day. Now, this was an area where we observed most crowds and guests forgetting about social distancing as they tried to get a good photo. So we'll have to see if Disney will put extra measures in place to address this. Initially, indoor theatre shows were closed but have now reopened, again with a much smaller capacity. Disney are doing a good job in managing the queues, and once inside the theatre they're using every other row and seem to be seating guests at the end of the row with groups and families sat together, but plenty of room away from other parties. Now, the characters are out and about waving from balconies, but there's no close-up photos or hugs. For character dining, the characters kind of parade through the restaurant, pose for photos individually and in group shots, and then at the end guests are presented with a signed postcard from the characters. So these measures seem to have been working pretty well at Shanghai Disneyland, and so far the announcements for the Florida parks seem pretty much identical. We'll now need to see if the plans are approved and what further information comes out over the coming weeks. In Europe, Disneyland Paris has announced that the golf course at the resort will reopen on the 28th of May, and the French government has announced some relaxation of the measures in place. The The region of Paris where Disneyland Paris is located has had the level downgraded from a red zone to an orange zone. Businesses in an orange zone can reopen from the 22nd of June if measures in line with the situation are deemed sufficient. However, the French government still has restrictions in place for a maximum occupancy of 5,000, which could prove financially unviable to reopen the parks. As we said earlier, Shanghai Disneyland are operating on a 20,000 people per day attendance. There's been no official announcement from Disney yet on reopening Disneyland Paris, but things do look to be heading in the right direction. Meanwhile, in Japan, the Tokyo Disneyland Resort have announced that their shopping and entertainment district will reopen on the 1st of June. There also seems to be some movement at Hong Kong Disneyland. Though we haven't had any announcement on reopening, cast members have been invited back to test for a soft opening, and there seems to be activity putting safety measures that we've seen in Shanghai in place. As the Disney parks around the world start moving to reopen, this is really exciting news and a welcome move back to a bit of normality. We hope the measures will keep guests and cast members safe, and seeing the parks back open will give some hope to Disney fans around the world. So there you have it, the latest news from Disney parks. Stay updated by subscribing to our channel, and we'll do our best to keep you posted. If you have any comments or questions, do get in touch on social media, links are in the description. While you're there, why not give us a like and subscribe. I've been Adam for the Disney Theme Park Vlog. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you real soon.